Where the fuck's the Flash? We out here, man. I allow Archangel Michael to enter my body. You can do it. You can do anything you want in life. Today we are making plans. I think tomorrow I will take the bus. I will find a park. And I will set up. Usually I have some divine inspiration about what I should do next. But I feel like there's a firefly right to left. I was thinking about mobilizing my fan base to ask rich people for money. Chat! There's nobody here. I will talk to girls, chat. I'm just waiting until I'm buff. Okay, I need omega 3s. I need men's gummies multivitamins. I need men's gummies multivitamins. I need men's gummies multivitamins, chat. Chat, I need men's gummies multivitamins. And then once I have that, it will be slow progress. As I'm doing push-ups and doing pull-ups, I can bang out. I could definitely get to 75 push-ups in a row right now. And I just started doing pull-ups. So we're talking about plans that you guys can make in the future for yourself, plans for my channel, plans I'm gonna make for this channel. Right now, I'm saving the world. I'm saving the world by sitting here and finding the real, finding the truth, finding the way, putting all the pieces together from all the suffering I've endured into a way of life that shines through and makes everybody mad. And then I walk through having the time of my life while everyone else is trapped and enslaved by a robotic, oppressive overlord. And then I have to fight it consistently. I'm having spiritual breakthroughs where I'm seeing a higher dimension of consciousness where there's entities that communicate with me and I can't tell. Hello, my friends. Hello, Ricardo Moulton, Mr. Neist, 420, and Abdul Kadir. What's going on, guys? How you doing? You having a good night? What the fuck is right? Ginger, you have no soul, you Viking, bro. Man. Who wants to be Andrew Tate, bro? Why not be yourself? I want to be the best version of Casey Francis O'Brien. That's dope, bro. I want to go to Jamaica. I want to see if it's better. I want to see if I can walk in and feel the love that I don't feel here. I want to dance with bad bitches. I want to dance with a bad girl. I want to sing with the bad girls. I would if I could, man. Apu, welcome to my store. Yes, the meek will inherit the earth. It's mine. I own it. Me and the birds. Me and the birds and the bees are all laughing at you. Domain expansion. Look, yeah, look at my look at my new humble abode, bro. Would you guys go to war for me? Best war. One day I'll go live from my computer setup, and there'll be a camera pointed at me, and I'll say, "Chat, it's time. Go on this influencer's page and spam Casey is the way, the truth, the life. Casey is saving the world. Come to Casey and come to his wildlife refuge, and we'll all fight in the pit. I'll rope in the crackheads that I used to train with. And by train with, I mean they would go crazy on drugs, and I'd have to fight them. I'm from Vermont. I'm from Bronx. I'm from Bronx, but I moved to Vermont at a young age. My family's originally from Ireland or Irish. But I feel closer to the Native Americans. When I hang out with Native Americans, I feel more at home. I feel respected. They see it. They feel it. They feel my light. They see me in a headdress. I walked up to a bunch of Native Americans once and sat down with them, and they said, "You know, you were a chief in a past life. We can see it on you. We can see it in you. You're an eagle man. You're a great bear." Think you can stop what we do? I doubt it. From under cheese. Should I go back to the homestead? Yo, there's so much you don't know. There's so much you don't know, bro. Thank you. I suffered it. I didn't want to, but I'm proud of what I've overcome. It's taught me a lot. It's humbled me a lot. Like I consistently get humbled because I overcome it, and I and I feel like I can do anything. I can walk up and talk to the pretty girl. I can. I outperform my childhood heroes because I operate with a sense of humility that they've never experienced. I've seen a life that they don't. I see the universe in a way that where I think is valuable. And they've told me that. Like people with millions of subscribers have told me that the way I see is unique and valuable and that my experience was a blessing for them. A lot of people have said that I allowed them to trust people again because people are terrible. People are big weenies. And then they meet me and they're like, you know, you gave me faith that things are going to get better. So I know things are going to get better and I know how to do it. It just takes time and effort. And I have to be in a position much like Andrew Tate, but much better than Andrew Tate. Because let's be real, Andrew Tate's not that great. Tristan Tate's where it's at. Andrew Tate kind of sucks. I have dreams where Tristan Tate will carry me. He not won't carry me, but he'll lead me into a room, and I'll sit down, and Andrew Tate is sat opposite me, and we're both on these reclining sofas, and he's angry as fuck, and I'm this giant light, this giant ray of light that's pushing his face back, and he's pissed about it, and I'm just sitting there like waiting for him to ask me a question about how to be like me. I'm waiting for him to acknowledge my presence, and he won't because he's angry. And Tristan's like, he'll come around. Just wait. They've been at a distance today, but they're still around. They followed me up the mountain. They kind of wait for the perfect moment. Like they'll feel that I have a frequency, I have an energy, and they'll follow me and wait until the 1 second where I'm vulnerable to distraction. I think with a lot of daily exercise, like if I have a bench press, and I think it's because it's cancer season, I ain't even gonna cap. I think in the next season it'll be better. And as much as I hate it, hold on, they swore revenge to society. So you mean that society hurt them so much they become bitter and angry at how they were treated, that they go out and make everybody's day worse because they think that they're fighting back against it? I see it as a more kill 'em with kindness thing. Like I know how to make myself feel good and how to raise my own self-esteem with humility. I know how to be humble, but also not let that stop me from saying what I want, how I want to say it, when I want to say it. I don't fear violence anymore. I don't fear the backlash of police. I've been to jail enough. And I will say that they have so the judge in my case has let sex offenders go and have them come back and let them go again. But I bumped into somebody in the hallway and I've been going to court for 2 years where he stares me down the whole time, full eye contact, and they're just overly aggressive and angry and they treat my public defender like shit and they're pushing for prison time. They need a serious reminder of what it's like to really suffer. I bumped into somebody in the hallway and got a simple assault, and then I got COVID, and I called in beforehand and said, "Hey, I have COVID. I'm sick. I'm bedridden for real. Let me do it online. Let me call in. Let me video call my hearing." And they ignored me and they issued a warrant and they didn't tell me. So a couple weeks later, um, four or five of them showed up and they pinned me to the ground and pepper sprayed me and did all that, locked me in jail for days and didn't give me food or water. The sink was broken, so I had to wash the pepper spray out with my eyes. And then they lied and said that I was belligerent. They said I was actively aggressive and a danger to society. And they put that on the local news, a small town of like 8,000 people. They put it on the local news that should not be allowed in restaurants and stuff like that. So the whole town, who already was kind of jealous, they were mad. I had pretty girlfriends and they didn't really know me because I kept to myself. But I was always really confident and hot shit back in the day because I'd already overcome so much that I walked through and I know how to have fun. You heard me? You feel me? I would make jokes and tease people and I would flirt with girls in front of people in public. So they kind of took this narrative and all my haters ran with it and the whole town turned their back on me. So I left, and then after that it's been a lot of I fought for a long time. I made a lot of money, but eventually when you're like this and the world doesn't you don't have any support, it really tears you down. It takes away your dignity. It reduces you to an animal and then it hurts you even worse. So I mean for a long time it was hard for me to speak because I felt like everything I said was a fight. I know. I think I'm so chill that it offends them. I think I'm so chill that it makes them mad because I'm not chill like anybody else is. They can't put a finger on me. They can't really figure me out. God's plan. God's plan. So what else? My mother has. My mother has. Is it a hypochondriac? Yeah, I'm on my way out. I just go until the town until I go until. I mean, to be honest, I should keep persevering. I should keep riding my bike around to make them matter and matter and matter, to see what happens, to see how far I can drive them by just existing. But we don't have a lot of time before Leo season. I've got about a month. If I want to drop a song during Leo season, and I want to start creating the art that I want to start making content that inspires people. I'm like real, full edited cinematic videos. I mean, here I have to fight them. That's a very Irish thing to say. The Irish saying is, "We work hard so that the Irish after us have a nice place to stay." I want to plant an acacia tree at that homestead. How many people in here were there when I was with Vivek and I was in the cabin in the woods? Is there anybody from that era? Because I still have OGs. I still have I still have OGs from 2 years ago on here that watch. Cowboys and sunsets. You can always count on them. Never stay. Where the fuck's my lighter at? I'm at $200. I had to buy phone service. I bought this cot, which is a godsend for real. It's so much nicer after sleeping on the ground for 6 months to have a bed elevated where I don't have to worry about the ticks or the slugs is nice. Thank you. I felt completely alone against the Matrix, where I was isolated so long and that I would start to feel positive emotions, and all I saw was violence and hostility, oppression. It was like everywhere I went, people were actively working against me. I'm talking like towing my car illegally, stealing it with all my stuff, leaving me out in the cold. Then I'd have to fight for my tent space against people with a hatchet, and I had a machete, and I'd have to get out and scream as loud as I can and take my machete and cut a tree branch down right in front of them so they'd run, and then I'd have to chase them out, and then I'd have to move my tent, and I had to cover it. I covered it with pine branches so that it was completely camouflaged, and then I covered it more and more, and then I slowly built a pallet under it, and I hidden that, and that's for 2023. That's where I was at. I was right in the middle of the skate park where all the crackheads were, and all the white kids were the rich kids at the skate park, and I was that stagnant force where everybody else was moving around me, and I would come out. They called me the lake monster. Every time I came out, they're like, "Oh, it's the lake monster." Here they call me Michael Myers. The high school kids at the field are like, "Is Michael Myers in the woods?" That's not the scary part. Like, physical violence doesn't scare me. I get scared because I'm paranoid about spirits. I'll start to feel like this big pressure, and I'll start to see lights around me like orbs. See how there's a right to left? You can't see it. I get overwhelmed at the infinite. Like when you fully accept that God is real and that there's a creator and there's a design to the universe, it's a really overwhelming thing because you never know what's out there, the unknown. There's so much we don't know about, and there's so many different levels to it. But for the most part, as long as you're taking steps to better your life so that you're in a position to do what you love, it seems like the universe opens up a way for you and it challenges you in a way that stimulates you to grow into a better version of yourself so that the things that you create are even better. And that's on God. You fucking pussy. Fuck her right in the pussy. Fuck her right in the pussy. Ah! No. No. I want you all to be doing push-ups. I want you in my army, and then I'll send you free merch. If you guys can document your journey and show me how far you've come since the beginning of this channel to where you are there, and you've made significant progress, I'll 100% reward you. I see a world where we all work together to make something better happen. I see a world where we build something that they can't hurt us in. I see a world where we build fortresses as far as our reach can go. And all of us work together, stock trading, crypto trading, working out, going out in public, making art, making content, making events happen, making songs, music videos, TV shows, clothing, and then building fortresses that we own, where all we have to pay are property taxes and the land is appreciating. So that anyone that wants to is able to travel full time. This experience, look at this experience I'm living. I'm a professional homeless man at this point. I'm a professional nomad. I know how to get around. I know how to explore. I know how to protect myself. I know the essentials that you'll need. I know tips and tricks to make it easier for you to be able to experience the world the way that it should be experienced, where you don't have to farm. How many children? Andrew Tate farmed like 2 million kids for $45 a month. What's 45 times 2 million is 90 million for a year. So 12 times 90 million. That's $1 billion, I think. 90 times 10 is 900. So Andrew Tate made $1 billion. I mean, if you're spiritual, everything can be fair because no matter how rich you are, they can. All the rich people are fighting to feel the peace of mind that I have in my life with nothing. I'll tell you, like people like Owen Cook are going out and searching across the world, going up Mount Everest, going to all these nature parks, because he's trying to find that feeling that I emanate naturally because of my suffering and experience. Rich people are paying people to come around them, kind of like a king had the original hermits. Like when people say that guy, I'm in hermit mode. I'm being a hermit. Hermits were old men that rich people paid to sit in their garden and be homeless. They would pay them the equivalent of 100 grand over like 2 years, maybe 2 or 3 years back then. Due like inflation. Imagine getting 100 grand to live like this in somebody's garden, because you would be able to incorporate and house this humility, this energy. You would be able to be at peace in a way that they could experience through empathy, and you would also live in their mind when they sit up in their in their king's chambers and think about life. You would be like, they call it an archetype. You would be like an embodiment that they would keep in their mind that houses energy. So being this humble person is like being an action figure for people that are not able to experience it because of their lavish, luxurious lifestyle. I being like this is the key to the world because I enjoy everything so much more than anybody ever could, and that's the most valuable thing you can have in life, right? Is the gratefulness and grace that comes from suffering. And all I want is to be able to I put it into songs. But I grew up watching YouTube. I grew up watching Sips. And I know how valuable it is to people that were like me when I was young and how much they need that. The only reason I didn't stream in 2020 was because I was fighting off sleep paralysis when I was awake, if that makes sense. Oh, fuck. Yeah, the meek will inherit the earth. Unless the rich are getting a bunker and the world's gonna burn. Like, why are all these wildfires happening? I'm good. I know that the birds are causing the fires somehow. The birds are carrying cigarettes and pieces of campfires, and they're carrying them long distances, and they're throwing them in the woods, and they're causing the fires. At least that's the story that they're running. The story in Canada right now is that birds are picking up cigarette butts, and they're picking up pieces of campfires, and they're carrying them. I guess they do have it on camera that birds do this. A lot of people are saying, and I believe it, that nature is connected all together, kind of like God, where all the birds are a part of Gaia and all the trees are a part of Gaia, and it's all a conscious entity. So it would kind of make sense that all the roadkill that I've carried off the highway and put in the woods and thanked them and hugged them as they were dying, like deer that got hit and they were dying, and I'd hug them and carry them into the woods and lay with them until they died, and so on. It kind of makes sense that seagulls once guided me through a city, and I followed the seagulls all the way to meeting a famous rapper. Like, I woke up and I was like, I had a thought that I should follow the seagulls because one was calling at me. So I followed it all the way through town. When one left, another one would pick up, and I would follow them all the way through. And eventually it landed me right in front of a famous rapper. He's not worldly famous, but he's famous in Vermont. And he was just standing there. Like, I also really did go to Venice Beach. And so I walked up to a homeless guy and he offered me acid. And then I turned around and Ray William Johnson was standing right next to me. I've also met MGK at a McDonald's. I went to a house party. Like, I was sleeping with a girl and she brought me to a house party, and it was only like five of us, and the one guy there was the most famous, the biggest artist out of Maine. Like, people say Spizzy Spose is the best rapper, but that's like from the 2000s. People bump C. 416. And it really is, when I meet these rappers and we have a conversation, within the next week, like, the first thing that they go into the studio and they produce and they drop is their best work. And it sounds just like the same culture I keep saying that I have, the same energy that I say that I carry when I sit and meditate. It's like that song that was in my heart when I spoke to them. They took in as a reference experience and they put it into a song, and that became one of their best songs. Like, MGK dropped the Killer Cam and the Renegade Freestyle. Real Ricky dropped Every Little Thing, and then he dropped the remix for the Glorilla song. North Ave Jax, I met him, he's the biggest artist out of Vermont right now. I met North Ave Jax, and then he dropped a song using a beat that I was using to make my best song. So I was working on my best song that I've ever made, and I'm really proud of. And I meet him, and then he drops a song a week later with the same beat off YouTube, which is like a really rare, like hard to find one that it took me a while to find. And I met Cheap Trick, and in 2018 I was staying at somebody's house, and he was dying of cancer, and he was this weird, like overly emotionally attached to me. He did slap my ass once, and I didn't even realize it back then. I was so out, like I really thought that he slapped my ass because he didn't have kids, and I was like his first kid because he picked me out of homelessness and he helped fix my car and put me into college when I broke down in Maine. He slapped my ass, bruh. And I thought it was like when you go to a baseball game and the guy slaps the kid's ass. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that guy was not it. And on Halloween, I was trying to leave and go to college early. And he had like all these stitches in his stomach because they were pulling out his organs and trying to stop the cancer. And he jumped on my back to try to stop me, and his gut spilled open on my back. And then finally, I left. I got out, and I left when the ambulance showed up for him. And I'm driving through the rain. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm gonna go. I stop at this rest stop, and it's just me, and there's this one woman at the other end of the lot. I play "Hand of God" by John Bellion, which is one of my favorite songs, and she walks the whole length of the parking lot to say like, "Who is this? Oh my God, this is great!" And I'm like, "It's John Bellion, right? You should play his whole album on your way home. It's a good thing to have." And then she's like, "My husband is the ghostwriter for Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, Mike Slab. You should look him up." And it is that I'll watch a YouTube video and I like the content creator and I decide that I like him. And then when I decide that I like him, he blows up in a day. Like the next day, he blows up. That happened with Kurt Kaz. That happened with Curry. That happened with Casey Rocket. That happened with, and they're all KCs coincidentally. That happened with Matan Evan. That happened with Jesse Wells. That happened with Will Survives. Where I find them as a small channel, and I decide that I like them. And then once I decide that I like them, they evolve and they glow up. That happened with Sneeko. Zerka, yeah, it did happen with Zerka because he didn't go on his 2023 run until after I found him. And it is that 2 years before that, someone named GG3, Gary Gay III, was constantly kind of invading my life because he was jealous and he was trying to sleep with my girlfriend. And eventually I went to Miami to party with a bunch of autistic pickup artists, and I left my girlfriend, and she went to him because he was a simp and he got her pregnant, and now they're extremely unhappy. And then I came back, and I there was a schizophrenic kid that got kicked out of his house named John Michael, and he was hooked on crack. So I was helping him with his crack addiction while GG3 is constantly like at my door, sitting in my parking lot drunk, screaming at his phone. And then 2 years later, I'm in the Discord helping John Zerka with his crack addiction. And Gary or yeah, GG33, the numerologist, is having dreams about him trying to fuck me up in the astral realm and Chinese money and aliens and my ancestors and like Native Americans are riding polar bears and dragons are like destroying these Freemason astral projectors. So it's like a cycle. I said the same names follow me everywhere. So of course it would be extremely overwhelming to live in that type of reality. But I'm very proud that I'm able to not freak out. I have this now humble strength and fortitude. And I'm just hoping as long as I keep trudging forward and I keep making progress slowly, like I'm working out, I'm happy with how I look now. I'm seeing how big I'm getting. Like push ups are really you can't see it. push-ups and pull-ups give you real muscle that I never had doing a bodybuilding split. Because I was a bodybuilder in high school. I was a self-help guy. So I'd be in the gym for hours in a day. And I'll tell you that just like a couple weeks of doing push-ups to failure, and my muscles are so much stronger than I was like when I could bench a plate and a half, like a plate and 225s. A plate on each, so 45 plus 25 is 80. So 80 on either side is 160 plus 45. So I was benching 205. And I'll tell you that literally doing 60 push-ups a day or doing push-ups until failure, and my muscles are way more full. I feel way healthier. I feel way stronger. And that gives me a confidence that makes people mad. So I'm going to keep doing that. I'm buying supplements tomorrow. I'm at $215. I'm at $215 because I had to buy phone service, which is 45 plus what else? I had to buy something. Oh, I bought this cot. It was a good deal. These cots go for $100, and I got one for 20. And the rest I tipped. I get money from one subscriber. It was somebody that I met. I went down to West Virginia in 2021, and because my father had this nice 1999 Lexus that he inherited from a friend of his. He lived on top of a mountain, on one side of the mountain. This guy was his neighbor about a mile down the road, and they both had black labs. They were both alcoholics, and they both lived alone, and they were both in their 60s. Except my dad was homeless for most of his life, a ski bum. And I don't know if he was homeless, but he was not rich. Humble and badass. He was sleeping with guys' girlfriends way back in the day. He's a giant Irishman. They call him Gary the Legend O'Brien. He's great. It just sucks that trauma and addiction has taken his mind. But I hold him in a higher regard than I hold most men. Nobody does it like my dad does it. And I hope that I have the memory to be able to keep that so I can express that same energy to my children. But my dad was traumatized. Like 7 police ripped my dad out of the car and they beat the fuck out of him and ripped me out of the car when I was 7 and made me watch them try to humiliate him. Where they were like, say sorry to your kid. And my dad's screaming, like, sorry, get away, sorry. Because they beat the fuck out of him. And he was scared for my life. And now he'll call me once a year drunk and it's the entire experience over again. And he doesn't know that he does it because he gets blackout drunk. So he calls me and he's screaming at me to run away from the police. He's like trying to hold his son in his drunken stupor. But his friend Peter was another alcoholic, and they had 2 dogs each. My dad had a black lab that he was watching for the ship captain to the DuPont family, their yacht captain. He was dog sitting that dog, and that dog loved my dad more than Skip, so Skip gave him the dog, Hugo. And Peter had a dog named Lucy, and Peter started a motorcycle company in New Jersey. So he was extremely wealthy. He had like 100 acres. He had a pond. He had like a 4-bedroom house down the road. And the dogs would keep going to each other's houses when they let them out. The dogs would keep hanging out with each other and going to each other's houses. So my dad was forced to hang out with this other guy, and eventually they became really good friends. And they would sit in the basement and play Flight Simulator drunk in the basement. I remember going to Peter's house and he had a full zebra skin rug from a real zebra when I was about 10 or 11. And I was like, why the fuck are you promoting that? Why would you hunt and kill that animal just to string him up? You're rich. Why don't you just buy a zebra? Why would you pay to have him killed? And he's like, you'll understand when you're older. So Peter, because of his wealth, he had many young women in their 30s and 20s. He had like 4 or 5 marriages in the time that I knew him. And they all failed and tried to get his money and they couldn't. So Peter eventually shot himself on his property. I remember in my head, in my imagination, I saw Peter shooting himself, and then I got the call that it happened. I saw Peter standing out in his field. I felt what Peter felt looking at his property one last time and blowing his brains out, and then nothing. Peter only sent one message out of Peter's entire life. He was one of the wealthiest men I've ever met. Peter probably had tons and tons of people in his network. But the only person in his suicide note was my father, and he sent him an email. And he left my dad everything in his inheritance, millions of dollars, the property, probably stake in his motorcycle company, and all of his motorcycles. And my father got it, and within a week, wealthy men from Connecticut showed up and found a way to take everything in a loophole. They paid a lawyer to find a loophole in the will, and they claimed debt that probably wasn't real, and they got it all. And my dad was left with motorcycles that he didn't have a place to store. So he gave it to one of his friends, his old crush, a girl he used to date and love, hoping that they would protect it and they would keep it safe until my father was in position to take it back. And the girl married a junkie, and the junkie sold all of our shit. So my dad made it out with the dog, Lucy. He made it out with the Lexus, and I got the zebra skin rug. Which is funny that Kai Cenat, KC3, has the zebra print rug on his floor, and he wears an Irish 4-leaf clover chain. And Kai Cenat is from the same street that my grandfather owned a restaurant. And Kai Cenat's a Sagittarius. I'm a Sagittarius. The point was, my father eventually got drunk and crashed the Lexus. And because my father was siphoning my money when I went into the programs, because I'm a hard worker, I worked doubles. When I was 14, I dropped out of school and I was working like 16 hours a day in a dish pit that had over like, it's the busiest place in the ski, like the busiest ski mountain there, and there's only one dish pit. And I was the main dishwasher. The head dishwasher was usually high, and he would sit in the back. So I was busting ass 16 hours a day. So I made like 2 or 3 grand in 3 weeks before my dad snapped and I did ask him a cheap trick and I was taken into custody. So when I was in custody, my dad was taking out money every day. He said he'd take $20 here, $100 there. He took all my money out of my bank account. So he was going to give me the Lexus, this nice 1999 leather seats, wood panel interior, new age radio for the time. It sounded nice. It sounded classic. It was beautiful. It was us. It was the O'Brien car. It was black and gold and red inside. And my dad got drunk and smashed it. And then some crackhead offered to fix it. My dad gave him the car, and then they sold it for crack immediately. So I'm not mad at my dad. I'm mad at when these actions happen, I hold myself accountable for not being a good and assertive enough leader to be able to guide these people in my life to a better position. When people around me are unhappy and they make mistakes, I hold myself accountable because I know that I've always seen what they didn't. I know that I can see ahead. I can look into the path that they're going on, and I know the things that need to be changed before it happens to guide them on a better life. And in most cases, I just feel like they're not worthy of it. They don't they don't treat me with enough respect to deserve my time and effort to counsel them and advise them and guide them. But grace is giving people more than they deserve. So I still say it even though they don't, I know they won't listen. And I found out today that that's the Aquarian energy, is that they see ahead. They live in a world that the world isn't ready for. So they often have things that are ahead of the game, and people don't appreciate it until later. So after I lost everything, I made a lot of money on Dogecoin. When I went down to Miami and I got back, I was doing pandemic unemployment assistance and I was saving all my money. I had about 12 grand. And there was a Lexus in West Virginia. So you know me, I in my brain damage, sleep paralysis every day, paranoid, whatever, fighting, going on the track, studying, watching people like Vaughn Two Cut and Foster eBay and Ralph Smart, and trying to piece together what I know now is the Higgs field, the spiritual realm. And I went down to West Virginia and I got there and I got all the way to the guy's car. And the first thing he says when he walks up to me is that, I'm really good at playing Among Us, which is a game about being good at lying. So I look at the car and he lifted the car. It was a nice Lexus, but he put a lift kit on it and it was dirty. And the guy was a hick. So I'm just talking to him. I can feel that he's being dishonest. I'm waiting for him to shine through and shine the truth because I can see the truth like a light, like an emotional light. I know when people are operating from truth and humility. I know when he's being honest with me, and he wasn't. And the guy, his other friend, who was humble and nice, down to earth West Virginian, a Southerner, he chimed in and said, "Man, it's up to you if you want it. I can tell you that we rode the car here." And I was like, I'll wait and see what happens. So I put my gray Walmart throw blanket looking like Jon Snow, and I went and sat at a bus station and I waited for the bus to take me to the Greyhound station. And I'm waiting there for what feels like forever. I go in and talk to some West Virginians, talk to some girls, practice my skills, have some people have them laughing and blushing, having a good time. I walk out and sit down, and there's a cab right in front of me, and it's this little black guy, fat, bald, and he's staring at me like this. And he speeds off. He takes off. So I sit there, and this is how I looked back in the day when I was full disassociative, piloting my body like a mech, trying to work with the energies. And I would sit there, and then I'd go into a store, and I'd practice gaming women. I would practice talking to girls, trying to raise my vibration to elevate into the heavens, trying to stay outside of the matrix, trying to live in the world that I cultivated in isolation with good spiritual mentors. And I was a leader to people. People like 30 people flocked to my apartment as a safety net. I was the tree that people hugged. Tons of people came to me that I would find on the street, not crackheads, but like girls my age or guys that were autistic and were kind of out of it. And I had a gym in my house. I had a California king bed. I had a whole studio. So I was making music, making content, working out every day, taking supplements, going on walks at nighttime. It was just the people that I was around, and I didn't have the strength from years of fighting. So I was like this, and then that guy in the cab would show up every 20 minutes and then take off speeding again. Finally, I decided that the bus is probably not coming. And I look and it's fucking Sunday. The bus is not coming. So I call the cab company. It's some Indian guy. And the Indian guy gives me a bit of an attitude, but I'm like, hey, I need a cab, whatever. And they send the cab over. And it's that guy. I get in the cab with that guy. He locks the door. He does not take me to the bus station. He drives right past it. As soon as we pass it, he goes, I knew since I woke up I was gonna meet somebody special today. Bruh, I'm telling you, it's spiritual. God sent you, bruh. God sent you to me. And I believe it. I'm like, yeah, I know. So I don't know. I've never had that situation. This was years ago. This was 2021 now. So I just let him take me where he takes me. We go to Walmart. We get out of the car. He pulls out his phone. He goes, Brian, I met somebody special, bro. God sent somebody to us. I need you to be here. And Brian goes, actually, I'm right. I'm going to Walmart with my family. We're right here. We're pulling into the parking lot right now, and we're on top of this big hill. And then Frank's like, okay, and he hangs up. Frank, his name's Frank. And Frank picks up his phone and he calls somebody else. He goes, Brian, I need you to be here. There's somebody special, bro. And Brian, another Brian, is like, actually, my family's right here. We've been here watching you the whole time. And we look up further up the hill, and they're waving at us. So two Brians and a Frank converge on me, and I'm just standing there with my throw blanket on, trying to connect to God, holding my connection with the Most High, keeping my connection tethered to the highest truth, the highest faith. I'm feeling the energy, and they all get out of the car, and they all start praying to me like, thank you so much for letting Casey be here. Thank you so much. Please anoint him. Please keep us in faith, God. Thank you so much for keeping us here. Thank you for giving us. And they go through the prayers. And I'm standing there like, I don't feel any of them have the connection that I have. So to me, it almost feels like they're all faking. Like I'm worried. I didn't know what gang stalking was. I didn't know what NPCs were, but I was like, something feels off. I'm not feeling the love that naturally emanates from the hearts and minds of the people of Vermont. That's what I felt. I was like, there's something that's not showing up, that shows up in Vermont. So it feels fake to me. Maybe it's part of Christianity that you have to submit and then you have to have a high belief system and you have to fully let God, and where I was trying to be one with God or something. I didn't feel it. And I ended up staying at a mansion on top of a hill for a couple days, and I went to church. The next day, Frank brought me to it's just a local restaurant. It's like a local breakfast place. And the only booth that was open was right in the middle of the room. So I'm at one place and Frank's at the other. And when I say things, babies laugh and they come up to me and they point at me. And Frank's like, I knew you were special, bro. And he's telling me like, I just saw myself in a vision of us on an island together, rich. And he's telling me about, I show him how I talk to people. I'm seeing how he talks to people. He's definitely like a professional spiritual guy. There's something off about him though, but I could tell like I can tell when I'm talking to somebody that has pimp game. I can tell that he's a for real deal from the streets, real old culture black man from Detroit and Miami. And I just came from Miami, and I had just come from Detroit. So it made sense. But also my name's Casey Francis O'Brien, and a Frank and two Bryans. Eventually he takes me to church and I meet all the people in church. There's a couple creepy kids that were doing the pickup artistry stuff I was doing, but at a way exaggerated level that was making the girls uncomfortable. Eventually I ended up moving in with one of the Bryans, and his name's Brian Veramesa and his wife Heather Veramesa. And it's a Capricorn and an Aries. And they live on the top of a hill on Mount Hope, West Virginia. About an hour south of where Will Survives is right now. And I think like 20 minutes from where it's a guy named something in Saco. It's an interracial couple that are pretty famous on Facebook. And I lived with them for a couple months. And if Heather's probably watching, no disrespect, but nobody's gonna know you. You know, I'll say that these guys are very caring, kind, compassionate, humble people. I'm very grateful to have been that family relationship, because my life was just jumping from family to family. And I'm grateful to be able to see all these differences and all these different love that people have, all the unique cultures that have been developing. And usually, because I'm ahead of the game and I've met a lot of wealthy people and a lot of self-improvement people, I naturally have skills and talents that help people that want to go out and help the public. So these people had just made a decision a week prior, exactly a week before I moved in. They decided that they're going to go out with goodie bags. They're going to spend their own money on bags for the homeless to go preach the word of God. So they were going to go into the town with the biggest crime rate in West Virginia, and they're going to go up to all the crackheads, and they're going to offer the love of Jesus Christ. They're going to try to save them. So a week later, they meet me, somebody that had just spent years going up and talking to women and leading groups of autistic men through Boston, through Miami, over having YouTube sermon groups online teaching these pickup artistry skills, which is just learning to love yourself, learning to have fun by yourself, learning how to be an independent leader, and then sort of humor, openness, touch, making the woman feel comfortable, leading the interactions so that she can stay comfortable and in her not submission, not feminine energy, but just being able to enjoy the moment and be herself in a playful way where it's comfortable to, and you can go back and forth and you're focused and present. That's all it is. It's no sneaky way into her pants. It's just live a life that's worth being around and know how to have fun by yourself. And most people want to have fun with you, and you don't need them to have fun. So I was teaching that to a lot of autistic men back in the day. And I would go out, I'd wake up in the morning and I'd go out to have as many conversations as possible. And I did this since I was 14 when I was in programs. And I would have to game the girls while the staff weren't looking, or I'd have to do it under their nose where I wouldn't get in trouble, because if I got a bad emotion, they would lock me in a room for hours, for days. I would be locked in a room by myself if I made a staff feel a bit upset one day. So I had a lot of, like a Sagittarius, I lead people to battle. It's like a common theme in my life, is I lead people to battle in my past lives where I led people to war. People are saying if I have a Taurus rising, I'm itching my nose because my hair touched it. My whole face is itchy. So I lead them through. I kind of just take the back seat. I'm kind of mad at the people that I show up. I'm kind of giving them tough love. We go to church. A couple black girls are interested in me. As a token of gratitude, I brought the father to the gym and taught him how to work out, because I had been doing bodybuilding in high school. And he's a Capricorn, so he really values structure and routine and one step at a time towards his goal. So I brought him to the gym and I brought him through workouts. And then I brought him to the mall, and I bought him a nice pair of boots as a token of gratitude for letting me stay there and opening up their home to me. And I slept in the attic. Well, the thing was that they're very hardworking. He worked in the coal mines, and she was a waitress. And they had kind of let their house go into disarray. They had a room full of many cats that they just locked the door, and they would throw, I think they threw like a bag of food in every now and then. And they had moved into, so it was 2 parents and 2 kids and a baby. And then the daughter would sleep in the living room, and they slept all together on 2 couches and a mattress. 2 couches, a chair, and a mattress. And I slept upstairs, and every night I would open the door and I would sit with the cats and pet them and kind of introduce myself, see how comfortable they would get with leaving the room. And eventually they would all come hang out with me. The mom would. And some of them would come in at night, and we just stare at each other the whole night. And another kid showed up from Florida when I had just come from Florida, named Michael, and he taught me MMA. Another guy that taught me MMA that came out of nowhere that was autistic and needed help with social skills was named Gabriel. So Gabriel and Michael taught me MMA to fight off crackheads. And I would come downstairs and they would talk about Bible stuff, and I would just hold my high anointing and connection with God and see if what they were saying lined up, and then see if I had any value. And the value usually was how to break out of your own mental prison to experience empathy at a more emotional, informationally dense and complex level. It's in a way that you can telepathically communicate with the world around you. It's when I fully embody that I can call on birds and they come to me. I can make dogs feel comfortable and they'll run away from their owners and they'll hide behind my leg because they realized for the first time there was someone that recognized them as conscious. So I was trying to relay that at the same way. By the time that I left, I mean, I also got trapped. I went to some girl's house and she locked me in, got me high, gave me Seroquel, and I was out of my mind. And then they brought in a bunch of people from the hood, and they did a full voodoo ritual where they tried to take my soul and replace it with a golden retrievers. And I really felt it, whether it's placebo effect or it was a real energetic transaction, a real ritual. I really did feel trapped, and they tried to drain all the life out of my body. And they were cackling, whatever. And now I recognize that behavior was the same in the Pentecostal church I went to, where Frank would come up and say, "I'm hungry for souls." And he would lock me in the van and try to convince me I was gay, and then he'd hit on me. Somebody that spent his whole life going after women. But I was at this scared, emotional place because I was having these psychotic breakthroughs, trying to understand this new level of reality as we're transitioning to the 5D. And there was a guy that I felt was like my protector that was trying to convince me that I was gay inside. And then at the end, he told me that he took my soul. He's like, "I took your soul. I'm Casey now, and it's time for you to leave." And he like kicked me out. So I left. I went back home. But by the time that I left, they went from sleeping in that one room to owning a cab company and owning a restaurant. I really felt like it was my job to stay there because I know how to manage things very well. And I have a friend that makes the best burgers I've ever eaten in my life. And I have a friend that makes the best steak I've ever eaten in my life. I have two people that are Irish, Dakota and John Michael, a Native American Irishman and an Irishman that's technically descended from the same person I am, Brian Baru. And they're both extremely passionate about food, and they want to have a food truck when they grow up. So I was like, it's my job. I'm gonna have to stay here and invite them down, and we're gonna run it for a couple weeks, and we're gonna give them the recipes. I made them the best meal I've ever. I have this recipe that I made myself for like a tropical sunrise burrito with a bunch of different spices, and you cook it in pineapple, and it's a burrito, and it's really good. So I made that. I thought I left them in good hands, and I left, and I don't know what happened or how they did. Eventually, Brian became a truck driver and he made a lot of money, and now he runs a landscaping company called Kingdom Cuts. So I don't know if they do have it, but they have a giant. They say it. The initials are KC. Whether that's coincidence or by choice, they own a business called KC, just like KCC, the Kelly Creative Collective, the Kingdom of Creative Champions, Kai Cenat, Kurt Kaz, Kendrick Curry, Casey Rocket. Zach Bryan and Casey Musgraves had the biggest song of the year. Casey and Brian. For whatever reason, maybe God made us all, or maybe I'm the tree as the 33 life path. Maybe they're all extensions of myself that I get to constantly be creating new things. And when I don't need one anymore because I'm taking in new stuff, maybe that goes to them because I'm seeing my energy that I created when I was in custody and I was by myself. I would take in the universe and I'd make something, a style, a creative influence, a character, a personality. Because all the Aquarian energy is it means you're constantly floating. You don't have, you're just a bubble and you can take in all sorts of different energies and create yourself. I'm just a constantly cycling character around the wild man. But it makes it hard to maneuver through life. You have to hold on to yourself really well. But all these Caseys are now famous, and it all happened in my year of the cat. So Heather sends me about $100 a week while they're in landscape season. And that's really helped. I go purely off donations right now, trying to save for a computer so that I can, as a token of gratitude, I'm spending all my time getting into stock groups and finding the people that are making money so that when I do eventually have a place to consistently work, I now have a network of people that I'm able to eventually start to invest correctly and have a network of people that I can influence. And then so like everyone that sends me money, I have it in my Cash App. I have them ready to be able to send it back once I'm in a better position. It's just where I'm at. It's getting harder and harder to focus. Getting harder to hold on to myself. So I'm hoping supplement use and exercise will change that. I'm worried about time, man. We only have a month left until Leo season. Like 2025 is right around the corner. And I need a lot of money to reach my goals. And I'm praying, the stuff I'm praying for, I get a tarot reading that explains what I prayed for and that it's going to come to me at some point. So I'm just having faith, I'm being humble, and I'm just working consistently. I'm breaking through the bullshit. I'm just enduring how the people treat me, because I know in the future if I just keep going, I'll be in a better place, and they'll either learn their lesson or it will drive them insane like the rest of the people that have hurt me. Everyone that's hurt me is not doing well at all. Even if they're doing well financially, they're not doing well mentally or spiritually. True fact. Mods, ban him. How do I ban you? There we go. Imagine just talking about how big of an impact that I made and how much better I'm doing than I was, and how excited I am to consistently make progress and how much progress I am making. I'm still hating. But I don't think they're real. I honestly don't think they're real. It's way too specific. Like they're the things that they say versus their name versus the timing of it versus it's usually like the things that people say on my comments is stuff that when I post it, I'm like, man, I hope no hater says this. And then they say word for word exactly what I was like, man, I hope that they don't. Oh, look at that motherfucker. There's my hater right there. He thought he could bite me and I wouldn't see him. He thought he could sneak up on me. Should we kill him, chat? Should we burn him to death? Should we throw him in the river? What should we do with this spider? I don't want to pick him up by his leg because I think he'll bite me. And I am going to kill him. I don't want to burn him. I feel like I'll get karma for that. But if I stay here, he'll bite me. Oh my god. Darn. He fucking disappeared. I fucking missed. That's him. You in my pizza box? Where the fuck did he go? He jumped. I know. You guys want me to be a king. And I am. I'm definitely not putting as much effort as I could into creating content for y'all. I'm just telling stories, man. Oh shit, he's right here. You fucking idiot. Sorry. You came up to me, man. You asked for it. You should have seen what he was wearing. I lit the wrong side of the cigarette. No. Because he had a sneaky vibe. Like the way that he said it was like sly and weird. I think you probably know what I'm talking about. People that like they just talk like they're sneaky. He's like, I'm really good at Among Us. And he was trying to sell me a piece of junk. And the only way to win Among Us is to be a good liar. But it could be both. It's probably both. I can also add guests. I want to start raiding. How do I change the title of my video? Who's still here? Is it all people that I muted? I mute my haters. Anyone that comments anything negative or redundant or just too far out there, I mute so I can't see your comments. There's too many fat old men that come on to tell me that, like the one of the things I posted today, my teeth looked yellow because the shadow, like you could see my skin, like this, my skin was yellow. Like if you look at my neck was yellow. The white on my shirt was yellow. So my teeth were yellow. It was just the way that the shade was over my face and the lighting from the phone. Like all my other videos, my teeth are white. But I posted that and I got like maybe 6 or 7 comments from subscribers that said, if you want to be like Andrew Tate, man, you got to start by brushing your teeth. And then the first person that joined, look, the first person that joined said, bro ain't Andrew Tate. Look at all, look at all these people that joined just to hate. Imagine what their life is like. That's what they do in their spare time. They're pussies, for real. And it doesn't hurt my feelings because I've killed people in self defense. I've been through it all, man. It just makes me, I feel bad for them. I feel like if I walked by them in public and I passed them, they would feel empty inside. They would feel like they wouldn't even exist as I go to get my drink from the gas station, from the freezers in the back. And then I'd feel like they'd be mad about that and they'd stomp around following me through the store, which happens pretty much every time I go into public. I think it's a zombie apocalypse that's siphoning your consciousness, and I think that the influences are afraid, but I think that the human spirit is relentless. So I think that they're deep down they're fighting or they gave up. I had many dreams where they were trying to induct me into the cult. Like Oprah would show up, and she's like this dark demonic force, and she wants me to join her. She wants me to. She opened up a door into my dream. Like she walked out, like a door appeared in front of me while I was singing and dancing, and she appeared from in front of me, and she tried to beckon me inside. but she looked too dark and angry, so I said no, and then I flew into the heavens. I I had a dream that the Botez sisters were giving me head at a penthouse in Austin, Texas, because I was a famous streamer. But I was also homeless. Like, I had really not showered. Now I have shower stuff and I have a river I can wash myself so I don't smell horrible. But 2023, I smelled like shit. So I had a dream that they were giving me head, but they were like, "You smell, dude. PU." And I felt it. I felt the whole thing. I'm worried if I share certain things, they'll somehow it'll be taken away from me. Like if I keep it in my mind and I keep it growing, there's a more likely chance it'll happen. So I don't say everything, but I say stuff that will get like if Aiden Ross came out and said the stuff that I said, I think he would be in a lot of trouble with Michael Rubin. So if you like the content, man, feel free to comment emojis. Like scroll down through all my shorts and videos and just comment emojis because that helps the algorithm. The more people that comment on my stuff, the more phones that it reaches. Like I think I just hit 900 views or about that on my last video, which 900 views for just a guy talking about how hard he's fighting to make his dreams come true. That's a lot. Most people have to show their ass and dance. And I do feel like I have a lot of value. I think that listening to me will make your life better. Ugh. So what we do in chat? What do you want to see? Let's make a poll. How do I make a poll, man? I can't make a poll because I did a different type of live stream. Parties are boring, man. The club sucks. The club isn't cool. The cookouts can be cool, but there's usually nothing special going on at the club. It's like people only do the same 3 or 4 behaviors. And it all feels pretend to me. What's real is getting on the ground and doing push ups and going out in the woods to build a tower made of stone, working together to design merch. And then you get so pumped and passionate about the life that you're living that the sex is beautiful and amazing. For most, like in the club, it just seems like they put on a show for each other. And whoever has the most money, whoever people think they can get a better opportunity for, that's who they go home with. Whoever gives them the better feelings. I don't really want that anymore. And all my amazing, beautiful exes are now with children, and they've kind of lost their minds a lot. Like I dated an Instagram model once that was running her own business at 17 that I met in a program, and she her body's like Ice Spice's right now, like skinny Ice Spice. That's how she was built, but she had brown hair and she was Irish. And then I had another girl, probably the best legs and butt. There's only one girl that I've seen other than that that I liked, and she liked me, but I just didn't take the chance. Even though I felt like I was out of my mind, I was still way above most people. I ain't even gonna lie. Like I dressed nice, I looked well, I was young, I was full of energy, full of like the light. And she was coming on to me, even though she was like a staff member at a program. But I was chasing perfection. I thought there was something wrong with me. I had been kind of beaten down a lot psychologically before the homelessness. Like I was around a lot of friends and I was in a very vulnerable place psychologically. And they kind of took advantage of that by stunting on me. And they eventually revealed in their spiritual journey that they were siphoning my life. And they all have since fallen. Like the punishment for the guy that came in to try to steal my girlfriends. I had a friend that would hang around me because he thought that he was taking bits and pieces of my soul and adopting them as his own. He was learning from me so that he could go out and game women the same way that I was. And he got a virgin, but she was ugly. And his punishment was that his girlfriend kept wanting me every time we hung out, right in front of her. I think they're engaged. Right in front of her, who would be fiance. She was trying to sleep with me right in front of him, which is funny and it's karmic. What's funny is that those two girls I just mentioned, the girl that I liked and the girl that liked me, they had the same name, Michaela. So I know what'll happen, man. I look too good for it to not happen. I'm just a hobo. I'm a hobosexual. Being brave. And I feel like if I when I sleep with people, now I know that it's a sacred energy exchange. When I sleep with a girl, we're mixing souls and we're almost in like a soul contract where we're stuck with each other for a while. Like I when I hang out with people, I feel tethered to them. And the girls that I slept with, it's taken a long time for me to kind of get out of their grasp. And I'll feel them, like I'll start to talk like them and act like them. And I'll feel their energy around me. And then a tarot reading will pop up talking about how one of my exes is stalking me. So I'm sure she watches my channel, man. I miss them. I wish that I could show them the version of myself that I've become. I'm so much better at everything. I took the time and grew and evolved into a better version of myself. And part of the reason I wanted to be successful and famous and rich and make a name for myself that shines across the world is so that I can offer up the love that I wasn't able to bring to the table back when I was younger. Because I want 7 kids and I want multiple baby mamas. I think my genetics and my bloodline, the O'Briens, I think that I'm special. And I think that the world needs more of me. I think I'd be a great father. I think even I'd probably take my kid out for a weekend here, but I'd have a homestead, and I'd have multiple homesteads across the country, and I would travel with my kids and my dogs and my cats and my panther and my parakeet, maybe a falcon in the cage, an elephant, horses, and we'd ride through America while the rest of the world is trapped in the Matrix. And then we'd set up shop here for the night, and I'd start a fire. I'd give them a tent and a blanket. They'd be comfortable and they wouldn't get sick, but they would be able to wake up with the birds, and I'd sing to the birds with them, and we'd sing Native American songs together. And then next week, maybe this week I'll bring one mom. Next week I'll bring a different mom. That's how I used to feel if I find the right one. But God had kind of like, now that I know what it's like to really receive downloads from the Holy Spirit, to really talk to God, I can look back at my life and see that the visions that I was having in my imagination, the complexity of it, wasn't just an overactive imagination. And what they told me basically was that um, I'm not here to have the life where you have the family and the house and the 9 to 5. I'm an adventurer that pops into people's lives and gives them an amazing experience, wakes them up to an unfathomable truth, blesses them, and then prepares them for their net wherever they're going. I evolve them and let them enjoy life, and then I move on to the next person. I'm here. It also showed me that back in the day when I felt horrible that I was cheating on my girlfriend because I would get so full of vibes and I felt like I had to go talk to this girl, and I'd go sleep with one girl and sleep with another and sleep with another, and it was never draining. I would always be full of energy. Now I realize, like I look back into that was okay because I was raising the bar. I was showing a lot of these girls who lived in Vermont and only had these people that treat me like shit. These pretentious, proud losers, these whiny white bitches. They only ever had that. They never had a Casey Francis O'Brien. They never had the case. So I would be raising the bar for them. I'd take them on adventures. I'd take them on dates. I'd talk the whole time. We'd make jokes. All day we'd be on the floor laughing with all these girls. And they do text me and say like, "Hey, I know that your life is hard, but I want to say that you made a big portion of my life. I hold that experience dear to me." So I'd like to keep doing that. Maybe I'll try an antidepressant or something. But I don't think I need it. Yard. I need a nice jacket. I need a nice coat that's black and red and embroidered. And I want merch. You guys are gonna like if I when I have the full merch designs, I think you guys are gonna really fuck with it. It's stuff nobody's seen before. It's stuff that you can't find anywhere in the world right now. It's comfortable. It's me. Like I can't wait until I can make it. And I literally just had a tarot reading notification pop up talking about the homeless guy that lives. What did she say? She basically listed off all of the things that I was daydreaming about consistently. And she said, I see that that's all the stuff that you're doing. And I also see that that's coming to you with consistent planning and effort. And I can see that it's going to go well. So for that, I need an embroidery machine or access to one. I do know an embroiderer now. In my travels, I met one. Um, I would need a right manufacturer that has the quality clothes and hoodies. I mean, I like this Temu shirt. Like these Temu shirts, you'd think that they are bad. I haven't washed them, so I don't know if it shrinks. It probably shrinks, and that's going to be a problem. But I have designs for hoodies, and I have designs for jackets, and I have designs for hats. And then I think I have t-shirts. I can't do a poll to ask you. I want to know if you guys think it's cool to have t-shirts that have like the way the hoodie or like security guards have the word security on their back, like varsity jackets where they have their name. If that looks cool on a t-shirt, it's really cool. I also need to know if embroidery comes off in the wash and how to prevent that so that you can wash your t-shirts and have it not get ruined. And then I'll have my own clothing company, the Kingdom Clothing Company. So then I'll have that, and then I'll probably sell supplements when I find the good ones. Like maybe I'll partner with somebody to get a cheaper deal for you guys so that you can take stuff that will put you in a position to outshine everybody in your community. And I could have an ebook talking about everything that I know, simplified. I already have about 20 pages. Slowly start to write the book of my life, everything that I've experienced, going back and putting down the whole thing onto paper. Then I have a TV show I made that I'm really proud of that embodies the story that I lived in a fantasy realm way. It's really nice. Then I have a sci-fi TV show that's I think is really cool and nobody's ever done before. I'm all about community. Like I want to make something that's the bones of a project. It's like halfway finished with set boundaries and then allow people that I really believe in and I really fuck with their creative essence and style and put them onto it and see where they go, see what direction they take it, executive produce it. So I have 3 albums that are that case, and then I have 3 albums that are my own completely. And I have a good chunk of the album cover done of what I want for the first one. And I have 5 or 6 music videos completely written out for the second one. And then the third one's done. Sundance is finished. The Year of the Water Cat. That's gonna have Challenger, Home, Park and Ride, Fireflies, Float, Mount Mansfield, and a couple more. And then I have so many songs. I went down that road on my own, and I sent that shit as fast as it could go. Picked all of my people up and took them straight to heaven just to let them down so they could learn to grow. Then I went back and I broke through, argued with the Lord, and came back with a song. So don't ever underestimate what sits inside my heart. I worked so hard my entire life became a work of art. You look like you just smelled a fart. Stay the fuck out of my parks. I beat down all the demons and I came out made of gold. The pressure made a diamond, man. I wish that I could show you, but you'd probably try to take it for your own. So I gotta let you go. They're not grateful till it's over. They won't love you till you're dead and gone. I'd rather die broke and alone than to sell my soul. So tell my family I'm coming home. And if they won't open up to love, they're on their own. They won't open up to love, they're on their own. I know I'm missing a couple on Sundance that I haven't mentioned. I'm gonna keep the rest to myself, man. Maybe God is waiting until I have the means to be able to create the entire thing using the Unreal Engine. And I can use AI and I can animate the people the way that I want instead of having to go out and green screen everything and try to get people when they're free time to try to get in on it. Maybe he's humbling me and keeping me used so I can do it by myself the way that I've done everything independently and by myself. But I'm really proud of my last album. I'm really proud of the one that I've been making this year. That's got Salvation on it. It's got Salvation. It's got Angel. It's got Marlboro Blacks. It's got Winter Forest. And and I'm gonna leave the outro, the last song on the album, to myself. But it's all coming together, man. Let us pray. Thank you, God, for keeping me alive and well. Thank you for giving me these peaceful emotions. Thank you for allowing me to be a light in the darkness. Thank you for allowing me to be. Thank you for the strength that I've been able to achieve. Thank you for keeping me focused. Thank you for allowing me to not lose everything. Thank you for the sense of self that has been stagnant and embedded, where I used to feel hollow all the time and ripped to pieces. Now I have this sense of comfort that hasn't left me. So I'm very grateful for that. I ask to keep throwing me alley oops, keep giving me opportunities, keep blessing me, keep me along the path. Let me let the power come back to me. Give me all my energy back. Hopefully, justice for the people that hurt me, so that they can come to their senses. Please give me the sense of adventure when I wake up, so that I feel inspired and excited to leave. Right now, I feel empty and attacked and drained from the town. I feel like I should stay and keep riding around, but it feels redundant. Like I feel like I have to stay until I stun on the people that were prideful. And I don't understand why these wealthy people that I speak to are so inconsiderate and they don't believe in me. It's gonna take me reaching 1,000 subs before they take me serious. So I'm looking for a video editor. What the fuck is that? There's a beetle in my hair. I'm looking for someone that can edit videos. I'm looking for someone that can edit videos that I may be able to cash out depending on how much I have. But look, kind of like this is my situation right now. American Spirit Blacks. I'm a hobo. I'm a hobo. Let's see. Y'all see me? Oh shit, look. Things will get better. Things are already better than they were. The big problem that I'm seeing right now is that people aren't aware or they don't care. They know about energy. Everybody's aware of it now. But for the most part, it seems like they're trying to use it all to stunt on each other in relationships. People aren't understanding that sitting out in the sun and doing positive daily habits and setting goals inspires you to break free from your conditioning and your programming. When you decide that you want to better your life and better your situation and take small steps patiently to consistently work towards being a better version of yourself all around, improving your quality of life. That's the good energy that comes in. That's the stuff that's attractive. Instead, people are smoking and being lazy and being addicted to their phones and not making an effort to operate from authenticity and accountability and truth. Most people kind of absorb the matrix and they act like that's life. But that's such a condensed, unoriginal, stupid way to live. And people like me and hopefully us walk into places like that. Like I'm seeing we walk into a race, like a NASCAR race, but like a local race. And all the people there are in that sitting down, drinking. Yeah, negative. And when we come through, or at least when I come through, it's like I shine. All the power naturally comes to me and raises up in a way that lifts everybody's spirits. But they don't know how to do what I'm doing. So to them, it feels like I'm overbearing. Like I can't sit at those places because everybody's trying to find a way to ruin that feeling. They're drawn to it like flies. They're trying to get it to stop. Until I adopted black culture, and then everybody wants to be around me now. Everybody wants when you've got the BC, everybody wants to taste. I hate it. People call it female nature. That they're massive cunts. until you've got the vibe. Two-Face. They left. Did they leave at BBC? They're back. Someone's. Look at this fucking barbecue pizza. I found $20. So I bought a pizza. Where the fuck my lighter at? Where'd everyone go? Are they watching Let's Play videos? A voice said, they probably have work tomorrow. I have to find my charging block, and then we're gonna go on an adventure. I'm gonna take you around town. And I will start a new live for that. Yerd? Where the fuck is my charging block? I know I brought it. If I didn't bring it, we're fucked. Llama, red pajama, reads a story with his mama. Mama kisses baby hair. Mama llama, go downstairs. I don't think I brought my charging block, bro. I think I left it at the top of the mountain. I'll be a monkey's uncle. We're fucked, chat. Mama kisses baby hair. Mama llama, go downstairs. Mama llama, boy in the striped pajamas. It's not here, chat. A high schooler left his backpack and I took it. Because he was mean to me. He was saying mean things about homeless people while I was making songs in my head. Just a big weenie. A big weenie. So you are just really jealous of me because I'm what you want to be. So you just look like an idiot when you say these mean things, and it's so easy to see. You're really just a big meanie. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to walk up the mountain. It's too dark for that. Because I'm gonna have to go and it's raining. It's fucking raining. It's fucking raining. Oh no. I messed up. I thought I had my charging block, but I think I left it in my coat. And I left it at the top of the mountain. Because I was sick and tired of. Because what are you gonna do? A bunch of high school kids get in a screaming match with you, trying to egg you on to violence. And the police already have you profiled. Like the people are actively looking for me to mess up. So I can't do anything. But you know me, man. I said, try me one more time. And they shut up. But it do make me feel like a crackhead, man. It do be making me feel like a crackhead sometimes. But mama kisses baby hair, mama llama goes downstairs. And I'll tell you, that's what's important in life. That mama llama goes downstairs. You think this shit's gonna flood? Y'all think this shit's gonna flood? You have to raise about an inch. But I'm on a little hill right here. I'll get stung by an electric eel. I'll get struck by an electric eel. Eel. Burger, 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 bunger, bunger, hunger, thunder. I'm looking for something that isn't here. Man, I don't want to walk up there. It's all the way up the mountain. Then it's about a half a mile into the woods, through a bunch of ferns, and then got to pick up my bag. I brought my stuff here thinking that I could charge my phone up there. I don't have the kind of money to get a charging block from Cumbies. That's just like $15 for a charging block. Think, Casey. Think. I don't think there's any outlets that have ports for USB. I think I gotta go to sleep at some point. Mama Llama goes downstairs. Mama Llama, red pajama, recent stories with his mama. I'll tell you that being a kick streamer is extremely easy. It's just that threshold of getting a camera and getting the ability to live stream without it cutting out. And then all you really have to do is go outside. And there are so many people that will turn it on and watch. Like Neon is famous because he's just a kid that decided to go outside. That's all it was. So imagine if I had an e-bike and I could ride through like a Native American on a horse. I could have a teepee that I leave on my e-bike and I go into town with the streaming setup. I storm the beach, making everybody work out. And then I have an RV full of artists that we plop out in front of parks or festivals. And then we get the live stream going. And we lead group meditations where we break them out into the fifth dimension. And we connect them to the heavens. I think it will be amazing. But I can't do it the way that everybody else did. 'Cause everyone else that did it got approached and they had to sell their soul or get fucked by a Jewish man. There's something very spiritual and very creepy that happens. Weird shit happens to people that become successful and have a following. Even self-help people. You throw yourself at risk to become a actual targeted individual. And the only reason I said I decided to do it is because I'm in a position that's very different than most people. And I don't really have anything to lose. Like most people get blackmailed because they're worried about their family or their reputation. And I don't have either. So if there was somebody to embody this energy, to be able to bring it to the people, everyone else is too afraid to. I should have just taken my whole setup. Bitch! I knew I was smart! My mama kisses baby hair. Not only does Mama Llama kiss baby hair, she goes downstairs. You heard me? You know, pick it. You fucking Latugan. Bitch, I just can't stop gooning. Tell that to Joe Biden. The horses. You gotta go to the Alamo. My wife, she's Chinese. We found the charging block. Crooked Hillary wanted to stop us from charging my phone in the rain. Crooked Hillary sent a wolf spider to stare at me. Like, excuse me, you're in my spot. And then I killed him. Because that's just who I am. I'm a wild card. I'm a wild card. That's right, bitch. Fuck you. Big dicks up your ass. Let's go. It's fucking raining, I forgot. It's fucking raining, eh? It's fucking raining. It's fucking raining, eh? There's my bike. Oh. Okay. Welcome. Welcome, eh?
I've got $1 million suit. I've got a $10,000 one piece that I sleep in. My 6 women. And my Bugatti. You're broke. You're broke. You little brokey. You can't afford rain in your third world country. You're broke. You're broke. That'll show him. Where'd my charge at? I'm at 5%. Cannot storm the town yet. We can't storm the town until we have the necessary electricity in our bones. I'm doing it anyway. We'll walk into town and walk back. Your mother's a whore. She ligma. Your mother has ligma and you're broke. Losers. Losers with no private equity. They have no equity in their homes. Because they're broke and stupid. Not like me. With $1 million thong. That I don't wear, I keep it on my fridge. And they're broke. Throw them in the river. Throw them in the river. Throw them all the way in the river. Take their infant son and squish his head for dominance. Put a cigarette out in their head for dominance. Female nature. You have to be alpha. You're not alpha, chat. Chat, you're just not alpha enough. You have to take your cigarette. You have to wear your $1,000 thong. And you have to stick out your gut for the Rizzler, chat, or you're not alpha. Who wants beef? I'm cooking. I'm cooking right now. Here's the door. Oh. We're not taking that door. We don't like red around here. Because they're broke. I've got $1 million mole on the back of my neck. I had it surgically planted to be alpha. It's called peacocking. It's called peacocking. Peacock. It's where people rub a bunch of feathers on your face. Chat, where are we? We're in the Matrix, chat. We need to get out. Chat, I'm trapped in the Matrix. They could come for me at any moment. Chat, they're everywhere. Don't you see them? Chat, it's raining. It means it's a scene is electrified. And I'm on 3%. I have to go back and charge my phone. And I'll do a renegade. I don't know how to do a renegade. Chat, this is where that guy came out the other day just to posture at me. I was sitting over there, chat. Let's see. Can you see it? Look with your special eyes. That's where I sat. Me. Casey O'Brien, transcending the mundane. The king in the north. Big Dick is back in town. Sitting over there. Minding my own business during a storm. What's up, bro? You look faded as hell, bro. Fist bump. Gentlemen, I'm live streaming. Cool. We're here, chat. That guy's faded. I fist bumped him. Now we have 2%, chat. We gotta go. We gotta go down Holland Place and reroute. I would have talked to him more, but he was faded. Everything I said made his body go whoop. He was he's broke and not alpha enough for my presence. He doesn't deserve my glory and blessings. Big Dick is back in town, chat. Don't you know? I'm gonna steal everything. I'm gonna eat out of this trash. Oh no, it's gonna die soon. Oh no, we gotta get back. Oh, it smells like raccoon. What the fuck? It's me. How did it flip on me so easily? You found me in a vulnerable position. I'm broke. That was scary with the fucking, usually I delude myself into being able to not be affected by the surrounding energies, but I'm tired. I'm tired, Chad. I'm tired, so I'm feeling it heavy. That guy was out of his freaking mind, man. But I fist bumped him. Let's go. We're crossing the fucking street, Chad. Big Dick is back in town. We're leaving. We're taking it all on ascending, Chad. I'm opening up a door in the heavens right now. Imagine a challenger for me. We're here. We're about to charge my phone. It's on 1%. We gotta go quicker. We're not going quick enough, Chad. Oh my God. It's gonna die. I have to run. Oh, 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 oh. That's right, bitch. Fastest guy in the room. Just being brave. Oh, it's gonna be loud as fuck.